to that polygon when there's activity. And last night, bless his heart, he was doing us a favor, huh? And from what I know, and he's been a meteorologist for 43 years.
That's embarrassing.
Well, you know, and chief meteorologist at ABC 3340 for 24, 25
that's
years.
embarrassing too.
I know.
But no, I'm comfortable in my old age. It's all good.
I'm getting that way. And this is my first time meeting him. I'm really thrilled because I've been in Birmingham since 1989, and he's been my guy, you know, and now he's on my phone, you know. He's everybody's friend. I don't know how that feels to you.
No, I'm not everybody's friend.
You know what I mean, though, yeah.
I got some trolls coming after me.
Yeah. I'm sure you feel like everybody knows you, though. But I want to say the library has lots of other programs planned. I did put out the April schedule on the tables here. There's some Red Cross emergency checklist for tornadoes and other things here that you can grab, plenty of copies. And if you want a book, you'll just check it out upstairs. Other than that, I want to welcome James Spann and
Thank you.
let him do his magic. Thank you
This
so much.
This is like so easy because the TV station is in River Chase. A lot of people don't know that. The TV station is just like right down the street down here. So this is like really easy. And by the way, this is my lunch break. Has anybody ever worked the night shift in here? Has anybody ever worked 3 to 11? I mean, this is like my lunch break. So for those that don't know, I have been here a long time. I want to show you what it looked like when I came here in 1979, right there. That's really embarrassing. That's when I came, and that's no hair. That was a comb-over. I've never had any hair. So that's how long I've been here. This is us today. And again, we built this station in 1996. I worked for 6 and 13, and I've been here for 26 years. And it's been a great home. Thank you. They have given me the freedom to be me, which is sometimes hard to do. But the most appealing thing they offered me when this station started back in 1996, they said, anytime you want to go on television during tornado warnings, you can go on TV as long as you want. I'm thinking, okay. But anyway, I thought today, or this evening, we just run through some things really quickly. And by the way, I've got to give you guys a quick storm spotting session, okay? When I've got a crowd this big, we got to do a miniature storm spotting session. So you'll get a little bit of that and some safety stuff as well. By the way, I've been here too long, I think. This is not good. Wow. This guy is going to wake up and he's going to realize that I am on his body for the rest of his life. That's horrifying. You don't want to be number one in this category. What state has more tornado deaths than any other state in the United States? Alabama. And we've got work to do. You've got work to do, and I sure have work to do because that is unacceptable by any standard. So let's talk about tornadoes. When is tornado season? November through May, okay? This is a chart of tornado occurrences in the state. The really big months would be April, May, and November. But really, we have a lot in December, January, and February. I can't take those out. So I consider tornado season November through May. This is tornado season. I think everybody knows that. In the summer, we deal with hurricanes. We don't deal with tornadoes. It's typically quiet hurricane or tornado-wise in the summer. So the first lesson you're going to get tonight really quickly, and by the way, this all has to do with safety, is learning how to use that fancy radar app on your phone, okay? One day you will be looking at that radar app and you will not have me to help you. And you better understand how it works. This is our radar at the Shelby County Airport. This is just south of Birmingham here on the east side of I-65. If you go by the Shelby County Airport's on the right going south. On the left, you'll see the radome. That's a radome that protects the antenna. Inside the radome, there's a parabolic dish, and it spins around all day long, shooting out beams of energy. And if we happen to have raindrops, part of the energy will bounce off the raindrops and bounce back to the antenna. And we make maps where the bounces are coming from, and my maps look like this. I was at a school yesterday, and some kid said, "Hey, man, Dude, that's Minecraft. No. This is radar. I guess it looks like Minecraft, but this is what you need to understand, because that storm killed 23 people. And we've learned that most people don't really know how to use radar, and that's fine. We don't expect the Joe Q Publics of the world to be a radar technician, but at the same time, you've got this in your pocket, and you need to have a basic concept of how it works. The weak returned energy would be represented by the colors of gray, blue, and green. It's barely raining. When you see the yellow and orange, that's the medium returned energy, and the really high returned energy, it's red and white. When you see white on radar, it's raining so hard you can't see the house across the street. But by glancing at this map, you can see where it's raining, the intensity of the rain. It's not that hard. But again, this is a dangerous, a violent supercell storm. So there's obviously a tornado here. Where is it? Everybody in here over the age of 16 should know without thinking twice where that thing is. And if you don't know, I will teach you where it is. So everybody pick out a spot on this map where you think there's a tornado. And let's see if you got it right. By the way, before anything else, I got to tell you guys, I'm a little sad. I might start crying. You know why? Why? We're learning most adults cannot find their house on a map. And we have a geography literacy problem in this country. And you know what it is? It's the turn-by-turn directions. You don't need maps anymore. When I was a kid, you fill out these paper maps and all this. Well, now, and this is great. That's great. But during dangerous weather, we have to use maps. You know, I'll be on the face bag, and I'll put some really easy-to-understand map on here. And with it, and everybody says, what about my hometown? Why do they do that? Well, because they can't understand these maps. It means nothing to them. It's like Russian. So what county is this? If you get this right, we'll give you a Country Boy Eddie cookbook.
Jasper.
Yeah, y'all are good. This is great. You've given me great hope for humanity here. So, where's the tornado? Back to the original question. Yeah. You guys have it. It's right here. In fact, let me back it up one more time. You know, most people think it's up there in the big red blob, but it's actually right here in the back of the storm. In the colors of yellow and orange, there's the shape of a hook. And at the end of the hook, there's a spot of high reflectivity, the red and white. There's no heavy rain there, no heavy rain at all. This is the radar beam bouncing off debris being lofted by the tornado. Boards, bricks, glass, nails, tree limbs. That's a debris ball at the end of the hook echo. Everything up here is an echo, and this is the debris ball. So this is the tornado in the rain pattern. And by the way, when the radar beam bounces off moving raindrops, the beam comes back a little differently because of the motion of the raindrops, the Doppler shift. We can calculate the wind. Here's the same storm. This is wind. Everything green, this is inbound. Everything orange is outbound. Here's a violent tornado. And everybody in here should be able to see the tornado in both frames. And this is the rain on the left. That's the wind on the right. So in the rain, it's where? Yeah, you got this. Hook, debris ball. In the wind is where the colors you're touching. Green is inbound, pink is outbound. There's a bad one below Auburn a couple of years ago. Debris ball, velocity couplet. This is the creeper guy here is me on the TV. There's 3 tornadoes in this. You're looking at velocity. 3 tornadoes at the same time. Now, one's easy. I'm pointing at it. The other is above my hairless head. So where's the third one? Yeah, you guys are good. It's right here. So that's radar. The radar that primarily serves our area is at the Shelby County Airport. And again, it's the radome you see on the interstate. We also are covered by Weather Service radar facilities at Maxwell Air Force Base, which is near Montgomery, Columbus Air Force Base in Mississippi, the High Top Radar, which is in Jackson County, east of Huntsville. And again, the best radar app in the world is Radar Scope, the free apps that you get on your phone. That's a composite that takes all of the radars and kind of dumbs it down. It's low resolution, but if you really want the high resolution single site radar that I use, it's called Radar Scope. And I don't sell apps. I have nothing to do with it. It's $9. It's expensive, but to have that in my pocket is unbelievable. So that's radar. Now, what's a severe storm? Everybody in here should know only 2 things can make a storm severe, only 2. That's it. All the time I get people mad at me People are mad at me all the time. And by the way, you cannot hurt my feelings. You know why? I have no feelings left to hurt. I really don't. We cut off a basketball game on Christmas Day in 2015, NBA basketball game. Christmas Day, we had a tornado come through the southwest part of Birmingham. That could have killed a lot of people. The warning process worked. We cut off about 40 minutes of an NBA basketball game. Joy to the world, peace on earth, goodwill toward men. The first email I got, you know what it said? You should have been aborted by a coat hanger.
Oh, God.
Welcome to my world. It's brutal. If occasionally I try and be a person of grace, and occasionally sass takes over, you might understand why. But all the time people get mad. There's a severe storm in my area and you're not on television. And I'll ask them, well, why do you think the storm is severe? And they'll say, well, there's a lot of lightning and thunder. Well, that's got nothing to do with the definition. Here's my favorite. People say all the time, there's a mean-looking cloud. What does that mean? I'm going to see a cloud with a frowny face. The only way a storm is going to be severe, it's wind of how many miles per hour? 58. That's it. Or 1-inch diameter hail. That's the size of a quarter. That's it. And it says tornado, but if you got a tornado, you've got 58-mile-per-hour winds. So that's what a severe storm is, and that's where we need some help. Every day, the Storm Prediction Center, which is a unit of NOAA, issues a categorical outlook for severe weather. They have 5 levels. You should know these. Level 1 is marginal. That's the lowest in threat. Level 5 is high. Those are very rare to have high-risk days. We might have one a year, maybe one every 2 years. Yesterday, we had level 4 and 3 in the state. We had a 4 for West Alabama, 3 for East Alabama. Most of our severe weather days on a level 2 day. And I know these words are horribly confusing. We know that. They're horrible. Like slight. You hear slight, you think, well, there's not going to be any bad weather today. That's when most tornadoes happen here. These words have to go, and I think these ought to be flipped. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But you should know these categories because it's very helpful in planning your day. Every morning, midday, evening, the Storm Prediction Center updates these. So, thunderstorms, you have to have a few things for storms to happen. The big deal is air going where? Up. Air has to be lifted. And something has to really make that happen. It might be a front, an upper trough, a little small-scale boundary. Something needs to happen where the winds converge and the air goes up, or an upper feature that makes the air go up. And then instability, this is simply the ability of air to go up, the ability of air parcels to rise freely. That's all that is. Low-level moisture and winds changing direction with altitude. That's the basic building blocks of a severe storm. And that comes into play from time to time this time of the year. During the mature stage of a storm, you got a well-defined updraft and downdraft couplet. At the dissipating stage, it's all a downdraft. So in Alabama, we get all these storms, but really the ones we have to watch for are these HP supercells, high precipitation. We're not in Kansas, y'all. We ain't in Kansas anymore. The Gulf of Mexico is in the backyard. In Kansas and Oklahoma, the Gulf of Mexico is not in the backyard. Our precipitable water values are very high. Precipitable water, very high. So we have these HP supercells, and we also have these nasty lines. The lines are horrible. They're the hardest things to deal with. A tornado in a line like that might last for 2 minutes. By the time the warning goes out, the tornado's gone. It's like playing whack-a-mole. And we struggle with that. It's a problem. And often with lines, the big problem, it's damaging straight line wind. We had that last night. We had 3 things yesterday. Gradient wind, damaging thunderstorm winds, and tornadoes. All of them happened yesterday. But the supercells are the ones we have to watch. Those are the ones that can drop the really big tornadoes. And again, in a classic supercell, your updraft, downdraft couplet. If you're looking for trouble, you're looking here under the updraft. And again, I'm doing a really quick spotting class here. But if you're looking for trouble, you're looking underneath the updraft, back in the back of the storm. And by the way, before I even talk about tornadoes, I'm afraid of one thing when it comes to weather. What do you think it is? I'm scared to death of it. I'm not afraid of tornadoes. I know what to do. I know they're coming. Hurricane, I'm not afraid of any of that stuff. Every storm has hundreds, if not thousands, of ground strokes. But the good thing about lightning safety, it's not that hard. Go inside. But yet people don't understand that. More people die from lightning than tornadoes in this country. And we just don't respect it as adults. Check this tree in the middle. See if you see lightning strike the tree here about right now. Whoa. Top of the tree collapses. This is why you don't stay outside when there's a storm. That would ruin your day. This is down at Gulf Shores. Watch the Gulf. In this region here, see if you see lightning strike about right now. But a 12-year-old girl killed at Gulf Shores a couple of years ago. Down there playing volleyball. Thunderstorm, they happen every day. They heard thunder, they didn't go inside. 3 girls had third-degree burns, life-changing. And we've got to do better with lightning safety. The way it works, when lightning runs through an air column, the air heats up in about 1 second at 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than the surface of the sun, which creates the explosive effect we know as thunder. I love this shot. This is down in Tampa Bay. This is a tall cumulonimbus tower. The rain is here. The lightning is way ahead of this thing. Lightning can run ahead of a storm by 8 miles. I hear all the time, it's not raining. We can stay out here. No, you can't. If you hear thunder, the rule is 8 miles. If there's lightning within 8 miles, everything has to stop. Hey, guess what I've done? I've stopped the Southeastern Conference football game. That's some power. Country boy from Greenville, I'm stopping an SEC football game. That's a big deal here. I do weather support for a large college in the state. I won't say which one because everybody gets mad. By the way, I finished in Mississippi State. Everybody hates me. In fact, I'll be in Starkville tomorrow. We got a big weather conference. I'll be there tomorrow and over the weekend. It's going to be great. But I do weather support in Tuscaloosa for the Alabama games. A few years ago, we had lightning within 7 miles. I have a phone. I pick up my phone. I'm talking to the head official. And I said, hey, we've got lightning within 7 miles. He stopped that thing immediately. And I didn't stop it. He did. The players went in the locker room. Fans were told to go on the concourse. That's the right thing to do. And forget the 8-mile rule. Forget that. All you need to know is when you hear thunder, get in. It's an important decision. So here's a severe storm. We really have both of our elements here. We have 58-mile-per-hour winds, and we have large hail. Hail is a great telltale indicator a storm is problematic. The updraft is intense. The air at the top of the cloud is cold. The convection is deep. By the way, this is not hail. This is a Mountain Dew can. That's a great shot. I mean, I love that. If you put an object of known size in a photograph like that, we can calculate the size of the hail. It's great. We love that. But hail this big is going to ruin your day. These cars out here, the windshields are all shattered. Some of the cars are beat up so badly they cannot be repaired. Roofs in this building, the damage is extreme. This is softball-sized hail. This was in Cullman a few years ago. This was back in 2018, the same night Jacksonville got hit by a tornado. So that's large hail. That's a great indicator that a storm is problematic. So on the leading edge of a storm, we have a shelf cloud. We call a shelf cloud basically a CLC. What does that mean? Creepy-looking cloud, yes. But they're not really that bad. We get these all the time. So if you're reporting that to me, you're going to say we got a shelf cloud. This is the front edge of a storm, not the back, the front. And it gets windy, I'll give you that. It gets windy. It can be pretty windy with a gust front. But traditionally, it's not that bad. I love this time lapse. This is down at Mobile Bay. Here comes the shelf cloud. Everybody's getting all wigged out. Ooh. But watch what happens. It's not that bad. And again, yes, it gets windy. Leading edge of a strong storm on a hot summer day. We have these all the time. Here comes the shelf cloud. It's going to rain a little bit. Going to come right over the sky. It's windy. And really, that's about it. It's just not that bad. I want to know about the what? Back. Because you might wind up with this, a wall cloud. This is what I need your help on. The only way I know there is a wall cloud, it's your eyes. Tell me it's a mean-looking cloud, ain't working. That doesn't mean anything to me. I need to know, is it a shelf cloud on the front, a wall cloud on the back, okay? This is underneath the updraft, and this is what they look like. Now, a lot of people see that and go, James Spann, there's a tornado. No, there's not. Is there anything happening down here at the ground? If there was a tornado there, stuff would be flying everywhere, debris. No tornado. Under the updraft, rain-free base, wall cloud, cloud lowering here. They stay there for tens of minutes. And people say, well, what's the big deal? Well, this is the big deal. This is where tornadoes come from. So if we get a good report of a wall cloud, we can often issue a more timely warning and give people more time to go to a safe place. They're a big deal. Again, a lot of people see that and go, ooh, there's a large tornado here in, where are we? Hoover. No. Is there anything happening down at the ground? No. That's a wall cloud. The spiral bands wrapping into it, these are called striations. That is a wall cloud with striations, meaning the wall cloud is slowly rotating, not like a tornado, but slowly rotating. And here's the deal. Sometimes out of a wall cloud, you wind up with that. And that's obviously what we talk about a lot this time of the year. This is what tornadoes look like in Kansas. It doesn't look like that here. This is not Alabama, okay? This is out in the Great Plains states where they have LP supercells, light precipitation. Ours are HP. But you can see the dirt and the debris down here on the ground. In Alabama, you don't see most tornadoes. You don't see them. You do not see them because of the HP nature of the supercells. Most tornadoes are wrapped in rain. And many of our tornadoes don't happen during the day. They happen at night. Ask our friends over here in Chelsea about nighttime tornadoes at midnight. Anybody lives in Chelsea Farms over here on County Road 47, torn up at midnight last night. We're lucky nobody got hurt over there. And we have these hills and trees, and you just can't see them. Let's go back to March 25th, a year ago. This is Highway 280. That's Lee Branch, the Publix. That's rain wrap tornado. You can't see it. It's there. That's rain wrap. Every tornado, by the way, gets an EF scale rating. That's the enhanced Vegeta scale, based on the damage they cause. The weakest is an EF0. The biggest is an EF5. That's a 3. A lot of people say, oh, it's only a 3. It's no big deal. It's a big deal. I know that. You know why? That thing hit my house a few minutes after this video was shot. Let me tell you what, 3 is rough. Came through a neighborhood called Eagle Point. And at this point, it's crossing Highway 280. But the system worked. The message we use when there's a tornado down is called the tornado warning. My wife was home alone. Our kids are grown now. It wasn't weird. One of our boys went to Spain Park, one went to Hoover. We're a very conflicted family here. Anybody else in Hoover? But she's fine. She heard the warning. We have a plan. She got into the safe place. She's okay. Was the damage bad? It was horrible. To this day, I'll drive home tonight. I can't believe what it looks like over there. We used to kind of live out in the woods. Now I can see New Orleans from the back door. But at least we got a nice sunset now. You have to look at the positives. It takes years and years and years for the landscape to recover. It's horrible. But all that matters is that people are okay. Let me show you guys the same tornado crossing Highway 31 right down here by the Old Valley Elementary, right below the TV station, okay? Same tornado. This is US 31. And obviously, these people have no business being out here during a tornado warning. Thank goodness this guy in this truck stops. Here comes a rain-wrapped EF3 crossing Highway 31, and you'll see the power flashes, and it's going to go right down Highway 119. And if you want to know what it looks like, drive down Highway 119 today. Those trees have not been cleaned up on the other side of Oak Mountain Middle and Elementary School. Let's go back 11 years, April 27, 2011. I've not processed this day, really. If you were here, you know what happened. If you were not here, in one day we had 62 tornadoes. This is not unprecedented. We had a day like this April 3rd, 1974. Had a day like this March 21st, 1932. A day like this February 18th, 1884. These generational events tend to happen once every 40 years. Next time we have a day like this, I will be at Elmwood, which is good. But hey, all that matters is if there's one tornado in the whole state, and if that thing comes down your street, guess what? That's your April 27th. Ask the people in Chelsea Farms, their April 27th is March 30th, 2022, based on what happened last night. But we had 62 tornadoes. These are all the tracks. We had 3 5s up here. And these were pretty rough. Number 41 hit Smithville, Mississippi. 38 hit Phil Campbell at Hackleburg. 50 was over here near Lookout Mountain. And by the way, everybody's got an excuse why tornadoes don't happen where they live. I live over here on Shades Mountain, Bluff Park. You never have tornadoes in Bluff Park because of the hills. No. All these excuses you hear, that has nothing to do with strong, violent tornadoes. Nothing. I don't care. I love grandmamas, but I don't care what your grandmama says. They can happen anywhere. And we have to be ready. Let me show you guys number 37. This hit Cullman. This is a pretty good success story this day. That's going to be a violent EF4. And again, the creeper guide is me. I'm down here in River Chase, on a green wall. But it's a good story because everybody was fine. They heard the warning. They knew how to get the warning. They had a plan. They got into their safe place and they're fine. But it didn't stop in Cullman. And can I shoot straight with you guys? This day, 252 people died on my watch. Shame on me. Shame on all of us, I guess. These were precious people that died. And again, I've not really processed this day. I don't know what to think about this day. But I think about it every day, and will every day until the day I die. But in this case, it was a good story. Here's one of our 5 this day. This was the one that came through Hackleburg and Bill Campbell. This is so big you cannot imagine this. The wind velocity down there is about 200 miles an hour. The base is over a mile wide, but they had plenty of warning. Again, let me show you that one on radar. It's this one right here. This is going to be your hook and your debris ball right here. There it goes. Came through Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. Just horrifying. This is graphic violence you're seeing on radar. This is the one everybody talks about. Everybody says it was the Tuscaloosa tornado. Well, yes, it was bad. But what about the other 61? What about Boley Springs, Sawyerville, Webster's Chapel, places you never heard of before? Is your life less important because you live in the country? That's nuts. And I'm really passionate about that because I am from rural Alabama. I'm from a little town in South Alabama, and their lives are important too. And I'm sorry, if I make you mad about covering up some TV program, I got 3 words for you. I really don't care. I don't. I'm sorry. But this was the one everybody talked about. It originated near Newton, Mississippi. It listed in the mountains of North Carolina. And this was the segment coming through Tuscaloosa. I really don't have any joy watching this. I don't like to watch this. Some of you know my backstory. When I was in 2nd grade, my father abandoned me and my mom. I'm a fatherless child. My father never paid child support. I have no siblings. It was me and my mom, and we were broke. And we left that little town in South Alabama and moved here when I started 5th grade. There were some wonderful people here that loved us and encouraged us and helped us. And that's why it's special. And I just don't like to watch this. This is live on TV that day, coming off the camera that's on top of the county courthouse. We have people on the ground, and don't do this unless you've really been trained in spotting. You're getting a little miniature session here tonight, okay? This is from John Brown and Mike Wilhelm. John, Mike tragically died a few years ago, but John still is at it. But this is, the wind down there is about 190 miles an hour, and you'll see parts of buildings being lofted in the tornado. The tornado is a violently rotating updraft. And again, it's pretty rough. Some of the video I can't show people because of the nature of what happened that day. I can't. But they had about 45 minutes notice on this. 45 minutes, that's a long time. Most tornado, the average lead time is about 12 minutes. But this was a long lead time. Same tornado here in Tuscaloosa. And by the way, why are these people driving? You can't be in a car. A car is a death trap during a tornado. You can't. And this guy was going to drive into it. And by the grace of God, he could see it. Remember, most tornadoes you don't see here. But you could see it, and he put his car in reverse, and that saved his life. If he would have gone into that, he would not have survived. Now, by the time that tornado got to Birmingham, you can't see it. This is what most Alabama tornadoes look like. It's there. You don't see it. You're seeing a rain shaft. It's coming through Pratt City, the western part of Birmingham. It's producing horrible damage. You can see some lightning over there about right now. So there's our scale. Again, most tornadoes are zeros and ones. That's good. But I don't like to use the word weak tornado. That's a bad word when it comes to tornadoes because the EF0 has winds of 65 to 85 miles an hour. And if an EF0 hits your house, you'll know that it's not weak, okay? There's nothing weak about any tornado, but that's the lowest end tornado we have. Only about really 2% are 4s and 5s, and that's a good thing because that produces most of the fatalities we have here in the state. So let's talk about tornado lookalikes really quickly. A lot of people are going to see that right here, and they're going to report a tornado. A lot of people are going to see this right here. They're going to report a tornado. Same thing down here. I got multiple tornadoes. I can see them. None of this is a tornado. These are what kind of clouds? Scud. Here's the deal with Scud. There's no rotation, none. Now, there might be some broad rotation in the mesocyclone above, but in the actual Scud cloud, no rotation. They don't stay there long, maybe 5-10 minutes, and that's it. And it's pretty obvious if you look at it really carefully. But we have a problem. If you report that thing as a tornado, we have to believe you. And if we issue a false warning based on a false report, that's going to create the cry wolf syndrome. I hear those warnings all the time, and nothing ever happens. We really worked hard to reduce the false alarm ratio, and false reports drive us crazy. That's why I have to give you a little miniature storm spotting session here today. There's a lot of tornado lookalikes. And by the way, if you're going to get into helping us with storm spotting, this does not allow you to break the law. Hey, I took that spotting class. I can run that stop sign because I need to see the base of that storm. No, you can't. Everybody has to obey the law and be safe. Safety is key here. And again, chasing, that's a whole different thing. That's a topic for another day. We're just talking about spotting, where you are, going about your daily routine. The chase thing, that's a whole different situation. But even with spotters, you've got to stay safe. So this is Danielle Downs. Danielle was going to be a social worker. She was going to move to Pensacola. She was a senior at the University of Alabama, 2 weeks away from graduating, from Morgan County, Alabama. She was killed April 27, 2011, at 31 Beverly Heights in Tuscaloosa. And if you want to know what makes me tick, this is it. If you want to be successful in the weather business, in the science business, you have to have a servant's heart. You have to be a servant. You have to understand the people that you serve. If you don't need to be doing this. Also at 31 Beverly Heights was Will Stevens. Will and Danielle were friends from high school. Will played baseball at Stillwell College in Tuscaloosa. Will did not survive. And Loryn was with them, and she did not survive either. All three friends from high school. Loryn was a student at Shelton State in Tuscaloosa. She was going to transfer to the University of Alabama. Those three kids died at 31 Beverly Heights. I drive by there often. And by the way, just so you'll know how my brain works, I'm in the process of memorizing the names and the stories of all the people that died that day. 252 people. There were 251 names. We had an infant 6 months gestation that was killed, that was not born yet. But the death toll was 252. This is Loryn's mom, Ashley Mim. She sent this note to me. We're good friends. I know a lot of the survivors. We've become very close. She lives in Wetumpka, and she sent this note in 2018 on the day that Jacksonville was hit by the tornado, Jacksonville, Alabama, that morning. And she said, of all days, this is Loryn's birthday. If people don't forget the faces like hers that we lost, maybe they will take it seriously. And they did. I said, Ashley, can I share this on social media channels? She said, please do. And you know what? I'm a bag of hot air. I mean, to James Spann, yeah. But when you listen to her, people pay attention. These surviving family members have done more to help the cause of preventing loss of life during tornadoes than anybody else. And I appreciate their passion to do that. People saw that face, it clicked, and nobody died that night, despite the fact that we had multiple violent tornadoes on the eastern side of the state. Miss Minnie was on Interstate 359 in Tuscaloosa. She was killed. Why was she in a car? I don't know. I don't. But she died in Tuscaloosa. She was a very sweet person. Angel Stillwell was a student at Pleasant Valley School in Calhoun County. Lives in Knighton Crossroads. Y'all don't even know where that is. I do. And sixth grader. I've been to that school so many times, I probably own some bricks in that building. And she died April 27, 2011, as did Haley and Mikey Kreider. They attended Concord Elementary School out here west of Birmingham. Miss Bessie Brewster lost her life, a retired nurse. Everybody said she had the best smile in Pratt City, part of the city of Birmingham. This is Jonathan and Justin Dawes. They live in a small town called Cordova. Y'all ever heard of Cordova? Y'all don't get that much, do you? And let me just chase a rabbit. A lot of people get mad at us for being on TV for tornado warnings in places like Cordova or East Aboga or Greensboro. They said, well, it does not affect in Birmingham. You shouldn't be doing this. Well, so what? I don't care. I mean, as I get old, I just don't care. You can hate on me all day. And all I can see are these faces. I know the stories. I know most of their surviving family members. It will tear your heart out. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. Cordova was hit that day twice, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. These two boys survived the morning tornado. They did not survive the one that hit that afternoon. Alan and Angie Sanders lived in Shoal Creek Valley in St. Clair County between Asheville and Raglan. They were home with their three daughters. The three daughters survived. They were taken. Why did it happen that way? I don't know. We'll find out at another place at another time. Carrie Lowe left behind a husband and a newborn. One of her last social media messages is pretty haunting. I don't even like to look at this stuff. This stuff is hard. Ashley was a senior, an only child just like me from Dallas, University of Alabama, 2 weeks away from graduating. Her boyfriend was Carson Tinker, the long snapper for the University of Alabama football team. She was lofted by that EF4, as most people are. It's horrible. And she was taken to DCH By the way, they treated 1,000 people that night in the ER with no water pressure and no commercial power. I know the nurse that treated her and triaged her. One of my hobbies is healthcare. Some of you might know this. I don't talk about it much. My healthcare hobby has been going on for 17 years. I am the chairman of the board of a major hospital here. I don't talk about it. My hospital is Grandview Medical Center on US 280. When I joined it, it was Baptist Medical Center, Montclair. But I know a lot of people in the medical community because of that. And we can't talk a lot about this because of HIPAA, but the nurse that treated her tried to clean her up. She was caked in mud. She was lofted, shrapnel. And they were desperately trying to get her into surgery to save her life, and she died before she got it. And she fought. She fought really hard. And this stuff's hard. It's hard. But she had to get her to the morgue. There's a memorial where her body was found, still there today. Graduation was delayed. It was held later in the year. This is Darlene and Dave Harris. If you can't see the pain in her eyes, you're not human. You're not. It's visceral. You can feel it. And when I go on TV, this is all I see. We have to do better. We have to eliminate this loss of life. We have to eliminate this pain. And this is why I do these kind of programs. There's a great book on this day called What Stands in a Storm by Kim Cross. I wrote one too called All You Can Do Is Pray, but she's a real writer. I'm just a science guy. I'm a numbers guy. You ought to read that sometime. And again, my book is called.
It's out there.
There you go. These books are interesting. I wanted to write mine to preserve the inside baseball of the day, the science of the day, and the stories that were never told. I'm not faulting journalists. You couldn't tell all these stories. It was such a humanitarian crisis. But I just had to tell you guys what drives me and why I do this stuff. So let's talk about safety. This is the whole point of me being here. And I got to go back to work here soon because this is my lunch break. By the way, this kid taught us a lot about life. When this happened, our youngest son played baseball for Spain Park High School down here. By the way, they won the stinking state championship for the Jags. Okay? Jags hadn't had a lot of champions. Hoovers had a bunch of them, but they had a state championship team that year. Or soon, it wasn't in 2011, it was after that. But anyway, we went out in the country and helped people. People in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa had a lot of help because it was the Tuscaloosa-Birmingham tornado. But what about the people in Barton's Chapel? I went out in the country and, that kid, he lost every possession he had. That's never happened to me. I've been through some hard times in my life. I've never had that experience, but he was so happy when we found him. And so were his parents and his family because they were alive. They heard the warning. They got into a safe place. And they knew at some point somebody would come to help them. And they have a new house today. But on the safety side, you got to be in a small room. Everybody's got one. All closet bathroom, lowest floor. House in Pleasant Grove, the roof is gone, the walls are gone. I took all these pictures. This guy's fine. He was sitting in the hall. That's where you're going. All closet bathroom, lowest floor. You do not have to be underground. That's maybe for 1 out of 500 tornadoes, that's true. But for almost every tornado, you do not have to be underground. There's a business in Tuscaloosa. They were in the hall, and they're fine. Now, our biggest problem we have is manufactured housing. Listen, I'm the biggest manufactured housing fan in the world. Affordable housing. It's changed lives in a positive way. But away from municipalities, most people in Alabama live in trailers. And they're a death trap like a car. You can't stay in there. 3 people died here. It's down in Autauga County to the Chilton County line. And this is April 15th of 2011. And we don't exactly know what happened. Did they not hear the warning? Did they hear it and not respond? I don't know. But we have to do better in the weather business because for a lot of these folks, it takes them more than 5 or 10 minutes to get to a shelter. We have to have some type of intermediate product going to watch and warning to help them do better. Damage in Tuscaloosa, and again, I don't like to look at this, but I'll tell you that in every business, and I know these places, there was a good safe place. And the biggest problem we had that day, a lot of people never ever heard the warning. Never heard it. Isn't that crazy? I mean, we've been talking about this for 5 days. We had severe weather in the morning. It was a big deal. Every little megaphone I had, I tried to use it that day. And many people had no idea the weather was bad. And those people that didn't do this was coming, you know what they thought they were going to hear? The sirens. No, you won't. And if there's any place in the world where me and the people of Alabama fight, it's this one. People in this state love those things. Y'all must think they're sexy. So I don't understand. Y'all are weird. You can hear them on a sunny day at 3 o'clock when they're testing them, can't you?
Yeah.
What about a raging storm at 3 in the morning? If that's your way of getting a tornado warning, you have no hope. No hope. I can't help you. The baseline, it's this. You have one of these, don't you? And if you don't, you're going to go buy one. It's called a weather radio. And I know what you're thinking. I got my cell phone. I can get on the Twitter and the Gram and the Talk and all this stuff. I got my cell phone. It always does. No, it doesn't. What's the first thing that's going to go out during a tornado emergency? That cell site near your house, and your phone will be rendered useless. This has nothing to do with cell networks. This is an independent network that is extremely reliable. I have one at my house. If I have one, you should have one. And yet in Alabama, we think the number of people that have them, it's about 6%. That's it. Everybody's got a smoke alarm. It's the law. But 6% have one of these. This is your smoke alarm for a tornado. I don't understand that. So please consider buying one. This is the Midland WR100. I don't sell books or weather radios or anything. I'm just telling you, this is the one I would get. This is the one I have. And you can buy them in Publix and Walmart. I'm not supposed to say where you buy it. Every big box retailer sells these things, okay?
And there's a weekend for weather preparedness.
Right, tax-free.
Tax-free.
And I'm afraid we passed it for this year, but it will come back around. So for your plan, you're going to have a small room on the lowest floor near the center, no windows, no mobile homes, and you're going to wear a what? Helmet. Doesn't look good on adults. Really doesn't. A bicycle helmet, it's not a good look for me. It's like lipstick on a hog. It's not a good look. But, and listen, I know a lot of ER docs, darn good ones too. They will tell you that most people that lose their life or are seriously injured in tornadoes, this blunt force trauma to the head, skull, neck region, and you putting on a cheap Walmart bicycle helmet will keep you alive and keep you from being seriously injured. And people are starting to catch on to this. It's really catching on. My heart is so warm when people send me pictures of them wearing helmets. And you can have fun with it. It's okay. We can laugh. We've forgotten how to laugh in this country. But you have to have a helmet. The other thing we want you to have in your safe place, we want you to have a portable air horn, because if you're injured and if you're lofted, you might be 100 yards from where you started and the tornado damage is so bad, first responders cannot find you. You might be injured. You cannot vocalize your need for help, but you can squeeze that air horn and the first responders can find you. April 27th, many people died bleeding to death in open fields because first responders could not find them. And those air horns are great fun at work. You pull that thing right behind a coworker, they're going through the ceiling top. It's awesome. And also, you're going to get hard-soled shoes because, now, listen, y'all ever heard of Greenville? You have not. Oh, yeah. I'm from Greenville, Alabama, all right? By the way, if y'all ever get a speeding ticket in Greenville going to Gulf Shores, call me. My best friend from first grade is the mayor. I'm not kidding. We were the two biggest boneheads in first grade. If you tell me that we would make something of ourselves one day. But anyway, look, I'm from Butler County, and when I go home, I take my shoes off. I mean, I'm barefooted or in socks or something, or wearing really bad shoes. And I do wear a lot of bad socks like these right here. I mean, that's bad. My wife says, don't you leave the house wearing these bad socks. I mean, it's like, I do children. I'm normally in front of third graders. This is not my typical routine here. But you got to wear hard-soled shoes, because if you have to walk for help, you might be walking over a tornado debris field and you're in shock and you're bleeding. You don't even know what's happening. Your feet are shredded. So many people have had their feet seriously injured by tennis shoes or sneakers or socks, or they're barefooted. And so hard-soled shoes, and portable air horn, and a helmet for everybody. Remember, tornado season is November through May. Every time we have a tornado around Thanksgiving, we shouldn't be having tornadoes at Thanksgiving. November is our third biggest month, and December is a huge month. They say we shouldn't be having them at Christmas. It's how we have Christmas Day sometimes. So once we get out of May, what do we get into next?
Hurricane season.
Yes. And again, I'm going to fly through this real quick because I've kept you guys too long here. This is Laura from 2 years ago in the Western Gulf. This is Ida from last year. The water in the Gulf needs to be about 80 Fahrenheit. And typically that kicks in about June 1st. Hurricane season is June through November. The big months are August and September when the waters are really warm. Ida coming up on the Louisiana coast, and boy, these guys are American heroes. They fly these C-130s into hurricanes. This is flying into Hurricane Ida last year, and let me tell you what, that is a nasty flight, nasty. I have not done one. I would love to do it one day, but they always say never eat lunch before you go with them because you will lose it. They don't fly over hurricanes. They don't fly around hurricanes. They fly through them at 10,000 feet. And what they do, they take the radio signs we put on the balloons down here at the Shelby County Airport, but they drop them down the bottom of the aircraft. They drop all the way to the ocean. On the way down, they measure pressure, wind, and they do a great job. They're American heroes. So this is hurricanes, but really, what's interesting, my favorite season is this, winter. This is looking out my office window last February. This was a good snow day. You know what's so sad, though? See these trees? They don't exist anymore because 1 month later, that EF3 tornado would take them all out. But this was a great snow day. The roads were fine. We had power, make a snowman, have a snowball fight. This was great. By the way, you want to see what it looks like down at the TV station when it snows in the weather office? I have not shown this to anybody. We have a security camera that records everything we do in the weather office. Let me show you guys what it looks like in the weather office at ADC 3340 when it snows, right here. It gets a little wild. We're not good at snow. God, we don't have enough analogs to really be effective. But we had a big snow last February. This is some knucklehead on a recliner on top of a car boat. This is in Florence, Alabama. This is not Alaska. We had a very snowy February. And by the way, nobody was injured in the making of these videos, okay? Nobody was injured. A guy doing the same thing on a surfboard up here in Athens. Wow. We don't get a lot of snow here, but we know how to have fun when it snows, okay? And I got to tell you, during this snow event last February, we had exclusive video of a unicorn. That little girl was hanging on for dear life. She's being pulled behind a four-wheeler, and this is up near the Tennessee state line. But on this morning, it was like 15 Fahrenheit. It was really cold. You won't believe what this guy's going to do. He's going in. This is the polar bear plunge. This is not working for me. I will not do this. 15 degrees with snow here, and this is in Northport. What this guy's going to do, he's going to get out, take off his sunglasses, and then he goes right back in. I mean, it's like, that makes no sense at all. But Birmingham is a very pretty city when it snows. It's gorgeous here. This was a good snow. The roads were wet. We had power. I mean, this was one of the really, really good snow days coming up on Vulcan. The drones have really given us some great views of this state, but every once in a while we get a bad snow day. Let's go back 8 years ago. You see my eye twitching? Because we fouled this up. And I'll close with this, guys. We've messed this up. The forecast wasn't that bad. We thought it was going to snow a little bit, and it did. But we missed the impact. We didn't think the roads would be bad. That's all that matters. It is the impact to humans. That's it. And what happened, the snow came down, and the snow melted. The ground was warm, which is fairly common here. But it was 18 Fahrenheit. It's never that cold when it snows here. And the snow melt immediately turned into ice, like the effect of a crippling ice storm. You can't drive on that if you're from Barrow, Alaska. And everybody tried to leave at once. People were stuck for 10 hours or longer, running out of gas. They're burning anything they could burn on the side of the road to stay warm. A humanitarian crisis, and we caused it because there's a lot we don't know. In this business, guess what you learn after a few years? Humility. A lot of scientists will tell you, you learn humility in this business. We're predicting the future, and this is hard. It is really hard. And I tell the kids all the time, and for the young people in here, we need more people in our science. Meteorology is an amazing thing. I've loved weather since I was a child. I think I was born to stand in front of that green wall when there are tornadoes flying around here. But the great thing about this science is the fact that you learn something every day. I will learn something today I did not know yesterday about weather in my ripe old age, and that's too stinking cool. And the other great thing, you have the ability to help people when you've got tornadoes and flooding and things going around here. So in summary, guys, I got to get back down there. What you're going to do for tornadoes, you're going to get a weather radio. And by the way, on your phone, everybody needs to have wireless emergency alerts enabled. A lot of people turn them off. They don't want, you know, the loud tone out you get? Why do you think people turn them off? They don't want to receive Amber alerts. What's the matter with people? If a child is missing, don't you want to help them? I don't understand that. But be sure they're on. That's that loud tone out. It's not an app. Every phone in America sold has that built in. Wireless emergency alerts. And then all the apps, and you get all that stuff, and that's fine. But between the weather radio and WIA, you're going to get the warning. And you're going to know where you're going. And in that safe place, you're going to have helmets, air horns, and hard sole shoes for everybody. And we'll get through the next one. And one more thing, guys. Listen, we lived in Hoover for a long time. Again, our oldest went to Hoover High. Youngest went to Spain Park. We're part of the Hoover culture. But a lot of people here, guess what they think? Tornadoes never happen in Hoover. Because of that mountain over there. How about Shades Mountain? No, that has nothing to do with it. My doomsday scenario, I don't like to close on a tooth. Horrible way to close a talk. It's horrible. A tornado gets down at the Bessemer Airport. Typically in a trajectory from the Bessemer Airport, where's it going to go? It's going to go right through Russet Woods. Y'all ever heard of that? You ever been lost in Russet Woods? That'd be a great book, Lost in Russet Woods. I've been lost over there. It's like you can't get out. It's like some kind of a maze or something. I mean, it's like, wow. It goes from Russet Woods down into the Hoover Met, the new complex built by the Met and Trace Crossings. And it goes right down Highway 150, takes out Hoover High School, takes out the River Chase Galleria. It continues going down Interstate 459, takes out the Colonnade and the Summit, goes into Mountain Brook. We think on that trajectory, the death toll could be so excessive we don't want to talk about it, because most people in that path are not ready for tornadoes because they think tornadoes never happen in Hoover. People think, oh, they always happen in Oak Grove, always happen out there in Pratt City, McDonald Chapel. That's where they always happen. Well, ask our friends at Eagle Point. Do they always happen over there? Or Greystone Farms, which is part of the city of Hoover. No, they can happen anywhere. So all you have to do is be ready, and we'll be fine. I tell people this all the time. The odds of getting hit by a tornado are always low, even on a big day. But you got to be ready. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay. Anybody have any questions before we go? I've talked too long. I do apologize. I'm so sorry.
No problem at all.
Yes.
We had one last fall at the Oakville Markwood, the nursing community,
My mom used to live there.
and it came, I know, I got your mom, the lovely lady. It came across, it took out a tree within 100 feet of the entrance, the
Oh.
back entrance.
Yeah.
And it continued all the way down 150,
Wow.
parallel Parkwood. And you say they don't come into Hoover, it was on its way.
No, if that thing wouldn't have lifted, it was coming right.
But it took time, I think you can still go and see the mess of trees that are out of it. They just twisted it right off.
So I recall that one lifted right before it got to Lake Cyrus.
Yeah, it was at night.
Yeah, and those are horrifying because you don't see
And there was
them.
we didn't know it was coming. It's just-
You get that weather radio, you'll know.
I have one.
Okay, good. Yes, ma'am. Where do you go to school? Brock Scat. What grade are you in? Fourth. That's a great grade. And stay away from boys, okay? What's on your mind?
So if you don't like standing on the green, how come you don't edit?
If I don't like standing in front of the green screen. By the way, Quinn, see, this is great. This is our news anchor, Mr. Stephen Quinn. I told him to come down here. The guy actually came down here. I can't believe the guy came down here. This is our newsman. This is great. He understands television. I don't. No, I don't like being on TV. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why. He's comfortable. I mean, this man is good. He's talented. No. He's really good. I'm not. I'm a numbers guy. I like numbers. But you just have to learn how to do it. You can do the green wall better than me. Because I've seen fourth graders stand in front of the green wall, and you're a lot better than me. Hello, girl. Yes, ma'am. What grade are you in? Pre-K. Here's how the pre-K teacher. Go.